Welcome to the Best Hour of Their Day podcast with your host, Jason Fernandez.
And me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
This holiday season, the best gifts are personal, and there's nothing more personal than the gift of good health. Whether your loved one runs, bikes, hikes, plays sports, or simply wants to improve their wellness, InsideTracker is the most personalized way to make sure their body stays in it for the long haul. Gift cards and clothes are impersonal and they're expected. So why not get your loved ones a gift that is truly special and unique to them? This Black Friday, you can save $200 on InsideTracker's Ultimate Plan, the most comprehensive way to get personalized insight into their body's well-being. Best Hour of Their Day podcast listeners also get a free Inner Age. No two people achieve optimal health the same way. Age, genetics, nutrition, and lifestyle all play a part. But no matter who you're shopping for, InsideTracker's personalized nutrition and performance system provides the most detailed analysis of their biomarker data from blood, DNA, lifestyle, and fitness tracking. InsideTracker gives them the power to live a healthier, longer life through concrete, personalized action plans consisting of proven, science-backed recommendations. So, starting November 24th, head to InsideTracker.com/best hour of their day to save $200 on InsideTracker's Ultimate Plan, and as a listener, get a free Inner Age. Or you can use our code Best Hour of Day Gift. That's Best Hour of Day Gift, BESTHOUROFDAYGIFT at checkout to give the gift of personalized health. Welcome back. Best Hour of Their Day. Fern, Ackerman, young Katie, all coming at you. We've said it before, but we'll say it again. Make sure to go subscribe to our YouTube channel because the content it's out. It's happening. This past episode.
Well, the new is not out. The new is not out. Then it's en route. When is that Austin, or when is that Central episode going to air, Katie?
So this episode is coming out Friday, so Monday will be CrossFit Central.
Man, prepare to have a great week next week, everybody.
So this past week, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this episode, you've celebrated Thanksgiving. Hope you've had a great Thanksgiving. Enjoyed it.
Happy Black Friday.
Yeah, it's Black Friday. Yeah, maybe you're listening to this. Do people still go out for Black Friday?
Oh, I haven't been anywhere for Black Friday in 20 years. I don't know why anybody would do that.
Yeah, it was never a thing for me. Like, I never was one of those people that got up. I have family that will get up at about 3 a.m. to do that, and I'm like, you could just go online, right? Like, that's
or
the
just
same thing.
Wait for Cyber Monday. It's the same thing.
Yeah, and really, you put up a funny post. I'm not sure that I understood it, to be quite honest, but that assault bike post was like perfect. It's like $4.99, $4.99. Oh, it's marked down to $4.99.
Right, but what's so funny about that is that is assault bikes. Like, that's how they advertise it. It's never actually full price. But people are like, here comes the sale, and boom, I'm going to buy it now. And I'm like, the price was literally the same the whole time.
And I think it's the same thing for most things on Black Friday. Like, sure, you might be able to get a deal here or there, but for the most part, you're paying what you can find any time of year online. You're just,
I don't know. Some of the discounts are steep. Like Black Friday is a thing. Like electronics will go on super steep, 30, 40, even 50% discounts. Like if you're trying to do early Christmas shopping, you could save an egregious amount of money. But that one specifically, I used Assault Bike, and shout out to Assault Fitness. Like I have no beef with them, but like that one is funny with regard to Assault, because like if you look at any of their ads, it's just constant markdown. And that's why I made that joke, because anybody that's not looking at, Katie, can you pull that story up? I don't know if you can do that, but it's basically just like it's like the 300 thing. He's like, hold now, right? And then it's $4.99, and then it's like $6.99 on the bottom one where it says now lined out, and then $4.99.
Yeah, it's funny. But again, maybe it's just because I don't need anything or go shopping for much. I don't, everything I need is on best hour of their day, especially coffee. We have coffee now, besthourcoffee.com.
You need that
Fern.
PR blend, bro, just so that you could not look like a bag of ass, honestly.
What do you think I'm drinking? I think this is actually the AMRAP.
It's not. Yeah, well, you need to combo those. Jay is in such a state of disarray that if you're watching this visually, he is wearing a Best Hour sweatshirt with no t-shirt under his zip-up hoodie. Yeah, there you go, ladies. ladies, find you a man. Yeah, there we go. Here's the ladies, find you a man that loves you like Jay Ackerman loves Jay Ackerman.
It's been a mess here. It's been a mess here for a couple of days.
So if you're looking at this visual, then if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the Instagram post.
Tell me this, Fern. What's the go-to present for your children this year? What do they want? What's Logan want?
She always wants weird stuff. Like she's like, anything unicorn is a win. But she like combines weird things. Like for Halloween, she wanted to be a unicorn mummy DJ. And shout out to my mother-in-law for making a legit unicorn mummy costume. Like I saw it, I was like, yeah, that is a unicorn mummy costume. Like there's no debating what just happened. The only thing we're missing was a turntable so she could be a DJ. But yeah, Chappie's not even 3 yet, so he just gets a high five and, move on with our day. We don't need to buy our kids presents for that kind of stuff.
Hey, Katie, can you?
I'm actually against presents for kids of that age. I'm like, don't buy me. Particularly, don't buy. If you're this person that buys presents for somebody that that has small children, and the present that you gift them has 400 separate pieces, I hate you.
Katie, can you go on Fern's wife's Instagram real quick?
Sure. Why? But real quick, before we move on from Black Friday, we have a InsideTracker special Black Friday, right? I'm gonna share real quick just so we can touch on this.
If you haven't gotten your blood tested, you should.
Yeah. So this is actually one of the few deals that is better than you can get year round. If you are interested in learning,
50% off, isn't it?
It's a little less. It's $200. Yeah. I believe the cost is $600, so it's about a third off. But with the cost of an inner age, that's another $100 value. Yeah. I love InsideTracker. I've used them for about 5 years. I dropped my cholesterol. You guys know I was dealing with some high cholesterol. I almost died. You guys know that. And I had to turn it around.
We can only be so lucky.
I had to turn it around, and then I had InsideTracker come out. My cholesterol is better. So many of this was my most recent InsideTracker. Best results I've ever had. I was younger. This is the first time I was younger than my actual age. So
I've never actually aged. I'm still 25.
Yeah. So check it out.
I want to be 29 forever. 29 is the best age of all time.
That's my age.
I like my, I like
you're
my
still 40s. In your 20s, right? Which means that there's an acceptable amount of tomfoolery that people just accept for you being in your 20s, but you're almost 30, right? You're not technically in your 30s where like, okay, you have to be an adult now. So it's the perfect age. So Katie, like you can do stupid things. We'll be like, well, she's in her 20s, right? But you can't say that statement doesn't work anymore. Be like, well, he's in his 30s. And I'm like, that's a grown ass person.
Yeah. That is true. There's that kind of line where once you're in your 30s, you can't use the excuse like I'm young, I'm dumb.
Right.
I try to use that.
3 decades at that point.
Yeah. But go over to InsideTracker. What's the code? It's best hour. It's a weird code. So best hour of day. No the or there. Best hour of day.
Best hour of day. I'm gonna help you out, Jay, because Jay can't read, probably because he hasn't had enough coffee, nor is he wearing a shirt. But best hour of day gift. That sounds
best
like something.
Hour of day gift.
Sounds like some verbiage that my son would use. Like he doesn't know how to use all the words yet. So best hour of day gift. And $200 off ultimate plus free inner age test. So significant discount there. So you should do it. If you haven't done it at least once, you should definitely do that. So.
Yeah, and then for box owners, if you're listening, they have a great program. You can check it out. We have links to it as well, where you can offer it to your members. You could actually earn some revenue from it. It's more important than the revenue you're going to earn is that you're just providing a better value for your members. So check that out. But Katie, before we dig into the topic, pull up Jess Fern's Instagram, please. So ideally, you're watching this on our YouTube channel because if you haven't seen this,
Do you want me? So would Jess be okay with us just sharing her Instagram? Because
I'm not entirely sure that she would.
Come on, Fern. This is worth it. Come on.
What do you? How about tell me what you want me to share from her Instagram?
There's a picture of Logan. There's a picture of Logan.
The most recent photo.
Correct.
That she posted.
Oh, with her
and then go to the second one. And then go to the second one.
Okay, I can do that. Hang on.
So we've talked about this before.
But I don't think the listeners have
largely seen it. My daughter is largely incapable of smiling like a normal human being. She basically looks like a sociopath. So that is actually right. That's normal. I even commented like she smiled like a normal picture. But go to the second one, Katie. This is her normal.
Oh, there it is. There it is. And I think what's funny about it is she just looks like she's like, no, like, dummy, I'm not smiling. This is what you're gonna like. She's just like, I don't want to. You're cringy. That's a cringy.
I don't think she knows how to make a like a normal. Like, I don't think she knows how to do like manufacture a smile when somebody's like smile. I think that's what she gives right there. That like I'm confused, So all right.
So if you're not sure about what we've chatted about before, there it is. But Fern, I recently put up a post. Let me read it to you. I'm going to tell you what I said, and you feel free to give me because a lot of the times I put stuff up, you don't always 100% agree, but we tend to be in the same wavelength. So if you can't afford or don't think you need a coach or mentor, close your gym. Is that hyperbolic? Is that too far?
I mean, it's definitely hyperbolic. That is, that would falls in the exact definition of hyperbolic. I don't know if you necessarily go ahead. You can I don't know if you necessarily need to close. There is such a real thing as like you can't afford something, right? Like I don't want to be that cavalier about money. Like it's definitely a thing. But we've talked about this before, and we've talked about the second group. Wait, actually, let me read this. So. If you can't afford, we've talked about the first group quite a bit. If you can't afford it, right? So we've talked about that before. But the second group there, which is, if you think, I'm trying to read this, your handwriting is terrible. If you can't or don't think you need one, that's the second group. Yeah, I was right. So the first group we've talked about. The second group we haven't talked about, which is the group that is what I would largely consider that you would refer to as the curse of the good box, and good is in air quotes, by the way.
I think they could be good. I mean, good is of course relative, but it's like you've had success, you're open a couple years, you're giving yourself a little bit of pay, like you're surviving, and oftentimes that's what it is. You're surviving, you're not thriving.
Well, you can fall into a weird lull where you think you're good. To go back to the episode about, it's okay to not be okay. Well, it's not okay to think you're okay when you're not, right? So there's two sides to that coin. One is acknowledging that things are not going bad. The other one is pure ignorance. And pure ignorance is a really terrible place to be. The number of calls that I get on that have to do with people are like, things are going pretty good and they're not paying themselves. They have nothing but part-time staff, there's no profit. They have a part-time job or a full-time job, and this is a part-time gig for them. I'm like it's like the words coming out of your mouth don't match, and that needs to be acknowledged. Which is like that's not good. Like that's not a real business. It's not a shot at anybody, but there's a massive disconnect with those two. Which is like I think I'm here, and I'm actually way down here. Right, that's the worst. And I always kind of joke with you is just like the worst kind of dumb is somebody who thinks they're smart.
The worst kind of dumb is someone that doesn't know they're dumb. 100%. Right. It's the dumbest of dumbs. And Katie, you know the rule.
You can pull it down.
Most
Katie.
people are dumb and lazy.
Yeah,
most people. I'm considering changing that rule to all people, with the exception of us three.
No, I'm definitely dumb. I just know, and the order of magnitude with which I am dumb.
You're not lazy. You're dumb. You're right, but you're not lazy.
No, I definitely wouldn't consider myself lazy, but I'm for sure dumb.
Yeah, we all agree.
I can show you my transcript from college. You'd be like, wow, but you are actually dumb. Like it's not even. But it's you have been labeled mathematically as dumb, and And that's really the big disconnect. And one thing I would urge people is it's always harder to get help when you're in dire straits. It's always hard to figure out like how I'm going to make some sort of investment in myself or in the business or in my staff or something like that when times are tough. Like it's never good. Like it's a forced retraction into a state of scarcity. And the issue that I have myself gone through is that I have failed to invest when things were good. When I would not only feel good about it, but then I would have the bandwidth to go and execute on whatever that help was going to be. And that is where I think a lot of people mess it up, is they're like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, but you're not really good, right? Like you're to the point where you could, make purchases on a whim. You're not good to the point where like you can pay your, 2 to 3 full-time staff or whatever that might be, you're not good where you could walk away from the business for a month if you so chose to and wanted to do that. That's a different ball game. And most people are in the, like, it's because it's not dying. This is the same conversation I have with my parents who think they're healthy because they're not sick. Right. So if we think about the people, so we use the fitness continuum that you use for businesses. And a lot of gyms sit at the wellness stage and think that they're in a good spot. And I'm like, you're 1 or 2 catastrophes away from being sick instead of being in the fit category, which is where they think they're at. And that's the alarming part, is because that train's coming and it's going to smack you. You just aren't even aware that you're on the track staring at the train. You're like, oh, I'm fine. You're facing the wrong direction. You're like, nope, no train coming. And then it just come barreling up your ass. And you're just like, oh, never saw that coming.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. It's like you're just ignorant. You're just ignorant of what's actually happening in your world. And as you were saying that, it kind of as silly as this is going to sound, it reminds me a lot of investing in crypto, right? Everybody's like, things are going great, put more money in, and then all of a sudden things aren't going great. And everybody's like, don't do this anymore. It's like, that's the time. That's the time you need to be going harder. Like, Warren Buffett says, be fearful when people are greedy and be greedy when people are fearful. And I don't think it's any different in affiliate ownership or any business for that matter. But we've had people that are like, oh, things are looking better. Cool. What are you going to do to get them even better? Like, right. That's going to end. And more importantly, what you and I discuss a lot with box ownership is this idea of conscious competence, meaning know what you're doing well. Most box owners, if you're like, cool, 2021 was great. Why? They'd be like, well, I don't know. I guess, people came in. Why'd they come in? What'd you do differently? How'd you handle them? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, right? People, again, this is the same group of people that are not aware that the ecosystem just allows them to be there, right?
Yeah,
and then overnight, the things fall apart, and it doesn't have to happen. And this is the same group of people, and I've been every variation of all of these people, so I'm in part describing myself. But I would even I was telling somebody this the other day, like, by virtually every metric, like, I'm good. However, that's not how I look at it at all. Like, I'm not okay with that. Like, I'm pushing further past that to the point where, like, if things just completely fell apart, I would still actually be good in the event, like, full-blown catastrophe. That's where I would like to be. And I may not get there for another 2 years. I don't know. But the point is, like, I'm definitely not sitting back on my laurels and be like, no, we're good. Like, there's no need to push any further. This is the conversation I have with almost everybody. Just like, I think we're good at 150 members. And I'm like, are you making money? And they're like, well, we're paying the bills. And I'm like, well, then no, you're not good. You're not good. Like, by no definition are you good.
Well, so many box owners, when they think they're good, it's just like, I'm paying my bills. It's like, if that's your definition of good, like not paying yourself, not having a staff, not providing opportunity for other people, are you good?
Right. And it's the same. It's the same statement of people who are like, who's like, I'm healthy, and what they mean is I'm not sick.
Yeah, that's a good point. And one of the first questions we ask a lot of the affiliates we work with is, what happens if tomorrow 20 people leave? And
that's a real thing. I've had multiple people in the last 2 weeks tell me that they've had larger numbers than that leave. And not entirely weird. We've probably had more than 20 people cancel in the past 45 days, which is extremely high for us. However, I'm not losing sleep over it. We've outsold those numbers every single month, right? But I'm actively engaged in that whole process. Like, we track everything. We look at it. We're making sure that, okay, we had 8-9 people cancel, whatever. That's still a 3% churn. I'm fine with that. But I'm doing still a net 7 instead of 3, and that's just for these kind of, like, in air quotes, down months. But the goal is still always net 3. Right. So I'm not getting attached to, a growth of 100 every single year. Like, it's just not realistic. Like, we chopped our goal for next year in half. I was like, I'm not going to shoot for that goal again. If it happens, fantastic. I'll also be over the moon if we do 50%, at which point that one seems very realistic. I'm very confident that we will do that. And if we go over, great, good for me, good for everybody. That's awesome. But I'm not going to sit around and be like, well, I think we'll just turn it off. Right. And we've learned it the hard way in every aspect of business ownership and the podcast. And it's just like, the second you stop pushing, you're behind. Right. Which is a kind of an exhausting way to think about it. But the momentum, once you turn it off, is so much harder to turn back on every single time you do it. And my question is, how many times are you going to have to learn this lesson? If you're a box owner, how many times are we going to have to, fall on our face before somebody's like, you should probably brace yourself and put your hands down? Like, if I saw my 2-year-old just, like, fall on his face over and over and over again and never said anything, I'd be like, dude, you should probably put your hands down.
Yeah,
like,
you should fall better.
You should fall better, and that's where I want people to start thinking about that. And it's, because it is okay if it's not fantastic. Like, that's part of the evolution. Like, you go from sickness to wellness and then into fitness. Like, the journey just keeps going. And then the degree of fitness that we have, that depends on what you've dialed up, right? Because I do have scenarios where I could go backwards in revenue and be in a healthier state if I did something like purchase building. But I would have to be living in fitness for a long time in order to make something like that happen.
Yeah, I had a conversation with one of our clients this morning who just found out they're not getting their lease renewed come January, so really short time, and they're purchasing their building. And I was like, this is going to seem like the worst and stressful, etc., but this is one of the best things you can do financially for your business. So, I mean, that's great. But I think the part of me that gets frustrated is, you and I talk to a lot of boxes, and at this point, we're not assuming, we're not guessing, we're confident. Like, if you work with us, you're going to have a better affiliate. And I think that means multiple things. It means everything Fern talks about in creating a world-class affiliate and fitness, in that you're going to have better average client value, better retention, better overall revenue, and you're going to be having more fun because you're going to be, eliminating, automating, and delegating many of the current tasks that you have to do. And when a box hears that, the fact that they don't want to immediately get started blows my mind, because when I've had my, affiliates, I've always had coaching. 100, like, as soon as I could. And before it was in the CrossFit world, it was my mentor. And he was not only giving me personal advice, but advice on the business, but also helping my coaches develop. Like, we'd have weekly meetings with him in the office. I just don't, it's mind-blowing. It's no different. I think the reason I get so upset is because it's like people that are like, I want to lose 5 pounds, or I want to change this or that, but they don't sit down and actually do the work or figure out what it looks like. They're just I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, rather than just rant, I've been trying to figure out how to communicate this to give somebody some sort of insight into how you would address this, right? Because I don't like to just be the drunk monkey guy. Be like, you suck, right? Congrats. That's super not helpful to anybody. And so then I would pose the question, which is, if you think you're okay, to what degree of fallout are you okay with before you start to panic? And if the answer is 10 people or less, you're probably not okay. Like, the business is probably, like, if you could not sustain a $3,000 to $4,000 drop in revenue overnight, you're probably not okay. Right.
Yeah.
And some people are like, wow, that is, 35% of what I'm currently running a month. And I'm like, right, I know, which means you're not okay. Which is, and my point is, don't let up. You cannot let up, right? I don't think people grasp the endurance, the relentlessness that running a business takes long term, right? It is a marathon. It's an ultra marathon. And at no point do you just sit off on the side and be like, I'm going to take a couple days break. No, you have to keep running, but it needs to be with intention. It needs to be like targeted. It needs to be very selective in the pacing that I'm using and like why I'm doing that. And that's how you run a business. And it is exhausting. Like I was talking to Christian, one of our clients today. I'm like, bro, like I'm very candid about entrepreneurship. Like it is not all fun. And that's the, I want people to say the quiet part out loud. Like sometimes running an affiliate is like dragging your face on the asphalt. I don't know how to say that. Sometimes it just sucks. That's a very small percentage of the time if you're pushing forward, right? And then coming up with a plan and trying to, but like you're going to have pitfalls. There will be parts that'll painful. There'll be parts where you have to insert yourself back into the business when you didn't plan on it. There'll be parts when you realize that like I cannot have this never-ending turnstile of part-time coaches because suddenly 2 of them move and now I'm down 2 coaches and have to go back onto the schedule for 25 hours, every 2 weeks for a total of 50 hours. And all of a sudden you're back on the floor. And when you were, in air quotes, working on the business, that comes to a complete halt. Like overnight, that thing comes to a complete halt. And now I'm behind. And the momentum that I was trying to build is at a standstill now, at which point I'll have to restart it over and try to figure out what the problem is. So I want people to build momentum, and then I want them to grow the momentum and not be okay with the momentum. The momentum should keep going, and then it should morph into some sort of other strategy, whether it's buying a building or putting up a new program or something that would create long-term, more constant, more consistent sustainability within the business.
What do you think it is about affiliate owners? And to be completely clear, this may be true in other businesses as well.
I'm sure it is. But I just think other businesses are less forgiving than the affiliate. We've talked about this before because the barrier for entry is fairly low financially, and operating expenses are fairly low to operate. Like a lot of people do it part-time, so there's no need for it to succeed. Or if you open a restaurant and you're not paying the bills and profiting in 6 months, you're done. That's it. Ball game. Pack it up.
Yeah, I mean, what do they say? Most restaurants close within a year, and it's because their overhead is different.
Or something like that.
Right. Where boxes can survive. And it's also part of it is, oftentimes box owners have a part-time job, so they're not actually surviving. They're just not completely failing. They have a significant other that helps pay the bills, etc. But, really when it comes down to it, it's just so many box owners just don't recognize, hey, I want to grab them and shake them and be like, if you just listen to me a little bit, you're going to be making money and surviving. And it's so frustrating because I know that we can help them, and they're stubborn.
Well, again, I think there haven't been like the best examples set within the space. I think everybody, because it was the grassroots the way it was, there's this false sense of security with regard to what like good looks like. If you were to rewind back to 2007, what we all thought was good in fitness right now would be laughable. Right. And then same thing in business. I think the business is just lagging behind what we've seen in fitness. So like everybody looks at like a whole new fitness through a whole new lens now. They're like, oh, if you can't snatch 225, you're not that fit. And I'm like, that's a ridiculously silly statement. But weird, because I was looking at some clips from the podcast from Jeremy Thiel, and he was talking about like what they were doing in 2014. And I think going back to what you stated earlier about ignorance is that people are ignorant about what their businesses can and should be doing with regard to growth and revenue. And he was like, we were doing $2.3 million in revenue in 2014.
Right.
Most people can't even fathom what that number looks like now. And that was 7 years ago, and we're getting ready to go into another boom. And I want people, a lot of people look at their numbers and they're just like, wow, this is good. This is good enough. And I'm like, it's not good enough. And I would say that it's not good enough. It's not good enough for you to thrive and create something that is going to be long-term sustainable. It's going to get you out of that full-time job. That's going to have you pay a full-time employee. And I would argue that those should be the metrics for success. If you're still running part-time coaches, I don't consider that to be successful. I don't consider that to be good. I didn't consider it to be good when I was doing it. And I'm still not okay with what we do. Like I want to do more. But you have to keep pushing the envelope, and you can't sit back and be like, oh, just because things are not falling apart, that it's good.
Well, and I think that phrase you used of good enough is what's key right there. And there's no other place, if the same affiliate owners kind of looked at other avenues of their life with the same light, their relationship with their significant other, they were like, well, it's good enough. You would work on it. I hope you would. You would do something about it, right? If your fitness was good enough, like what does that mean? Well, I've not PR'd in 3 months, but I'm still training. Would you do something different? Like anything in life, and that's what it comes down to. I just think anything in life that you care about, that you're passionate about, that you want to see success, you need a coach, you need accountability. I mean, what's ironic to me is the same affiliate owners that are hesitant to get coaching, their business is based off of coaching. Like CrossFit is free. You can do it at a Globo gym a lot cheaper than you can in an affiliate. Yet we all think people should come to affiliates because we provide coaching. It's the same thing. Yet they're not seeing the big picture.
Yeah, and that's what I would encourage everybody to do is if you do think you're good, well, then now's the time, right, to reinvest and reframe and have somebody give you a new way to look at things or flip your whole mindset upside down so that you realize like, oh, that I got to go back to work, or just how I view things or how I approach them or how I work with my staff or what the business model looks like. I think you should look at all of those things through a critical lens forever. Like you should never stop being critical of what it is that you do. Yeah, I'm constantly looking at things. I'm like, that needs to be. I have like a full list of things for 2022, 50% of which we'll probably get to. And all of them are. Most of them are actually things that I think we do pretty well. I'm like, they're not good enough. Like they could be better.
So, like, what's something you're working on?
I think we can polish the onboarding process. I think we can polish up sales. I think we can clean up the facility. I think we can clean up like how we run classes. I think we can, and I think everything. If I was just all the stuff, everything's on the chopping block all the time. Social events, how we do retention, like and just layering things on. I was on a phone call the other day. We're just talking like just different strategies and things that we could put on top of what we already do with regard to member retention, how we engage with people, getting Google reviews, like just basic stuff. Like how do I systemize all of that? Like how do I make things easier? Not just necessarily work harder, but how do I take that task that we're doing and make it easier? How do I cut out 3 steps to make sure that it happens every time and it's less painful for everybody? That kind of stuff.
Well, and that's it too. Like a lot of people just think, okay, if I grow simply by having more money, that's the ultimate end goal, but it's not. It's like your box should be fun. It should be rewarding. It should be enjoyable for you to show up every day. And so many people just attribute it to, well, I'm paying the bills, but you're miserable. You hate it. I've been there. You've been there, right?
Or you just removed yourself and the person that you're in there paying is miserable. Like, that's not okay either. I'm like, you're good. Like, you're good, but the people under you are not good. At which point, when they fold because this isn't their business and you're having them work ridiculous amounts of hours and paying them garbage pay, that they're out and then all of a sudden you're back in there. And so maybe that's what you need to be brushed up on. Like maybe you have no idea how to manage. Maybe you have no idea that person that is your GM who's making $25,000 a year is on the verge of quitting. Now what?
That's a really good point. It's not just about you, right? It's how is the rest of your staff? Are they happy?
I would argue that's more important. I was on a conversation the other day, and they were like, for whatever reason, it just turned into barter. And they're like, hey, like we have people that are just going to work for free. And I was like, what? Why is that a good idea? How does that not blow up in your face? Like, explain that to me. How does that not just absolutely blow up in your face? They're because like, well, he doesn't need to do that. And I'm like, that is the exact reason this won't work, because he doesn't need to do that. He can literally just walk away whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for him to stay.
Well, Well, we've talked about it before. Most people that are involved in coaching, they whether it's work at another box part-time, full-time, they do it out of passion and because they love it. And if you're not helping them develop, become better coaches, they're going to get burned out. And we've not even touched upon that part where most box owners are not developed enough themselves as coaches, let alone good enough to help grow others.
Well, everything starts with you, and then it trickles down from there. Which is like if you're not willing to invest in yourself, I'm pretty confident saying that you're not investing in your people. At which point they're not investing in the client base. At which point this whole thing is a house of cards. So let's just acknowledge that like this is not terrible, right? But I think it's that meme with the dog sitting in the burning building, and he's just like, this is fine. Right? It's that one. It's that one. It's just like you're just convincing yourself that it's fine when everything is burning. And and if you are good, if you are actually good, great. Like good. But you should still be asking yourself, am I? Like
yeah, or could I be better? Could I be There's nothing in my life. I mean, and I would imagine you two are the same, where it's like I don't want to be a little bit better. Like anything I do, I try to do a little bit better, just here and there. Like I don't necessarily think I want to be the best in the world, or can I be the best in the world, but whether it's coaching others, whether it's my own fitness, whether it's being a parent, like you want to level up, you want to get better at everything. And box owners, for some reason, just get to that point where they're like, I'm complacent. Like I'm telling you now, like you could have the most successful box in the world without a coach. You're not getting better. You need someone pushing you. Whether you're making great revenue or having a great time, you can always be better. And
if let's just say that you were the pinnacle of whatever that looks like, that you were like you've achieved it. We've given you the trophy. Well, then again, then I'm looking one level down. How is that person? And how is the person below them? And how is the person below them? And what are we doing to bring them all up to create a stronger team all the way through? And this is kind of what we talked about with John at On It, just like making sure that like downstream things, that this is not a ticking time bomb, so that somebody left and we get caught off guard because they've been pissed off for years because they feel like they've been, for whatever reason, they're just like not valued or something like that.
All this being said, we have Affiliate U 2.0 is coming. We help boxes. We've got a great new curriculum that extends to a year. You get interaction with us. I've seen with the people I work with, I know you the same, Fern, they get a great return on investment. It doesn't take long. And beyond the return on investment financially, the return on investment from a fun perspective, and that most of them are like, thank you. I lost sight of why I started this to begin with.
Yeah. And again, we've said it before, this thing is too important. Like there's too much sickness, lack of health going on in the world. This is where you want to be. I think this is one of the prime spaces in all of commerce, like whether it's brick and mortar or e-com. I think this is a place to be. It's just general wellness. And like we're getting ready to launch the new format of that. We're going to do a limited number of spots before the close of the year for people who want to get it at the old price point, at which it'll be a steep discount in order to do that compared to the new format. So if you're interested, reach out. We'll tell you pretty candidly if you need help, and then it's up to you to decide like where you're at in that whole process. Do you think you're good? Are you actually good? Are you in despair, and living this quiet life of desperation and thinking that everything is going to be just fine? Or are you ready to make a leap and just say, listen, just show me what to do. Just tell me. Because right now, I've been blind to what I didn't know. And here I am. So now I'm on this phone call with you.
Exactly. Well, we look forward to hearing from you. We would love to hop on a call with you. This is what we enjoy doing. We've worked with well over 100 boxes and have had great success. You can go back to many of the podcast episodes with them. One of the new episodes coming out from our time in Austin with Jen and Amanda, who, really turned their box. I mean, from a failing box to we ran into them at the Invitational just buying a stack of bumper plates from Rogue. I spoke to them yesterday. They were driving home, buying more equipment. So seeing a box like that, it's like those are the people we want to work with, people that are willing to put the effort in, people that are willing to say, hey, I need some help, whether it's because I'm failing or because I just want to take my affiliate to the next level. So hit us up, hop on a free call with us. We'd love to chat. We've got some great things coming in the new year, and we'd love to include you in that.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.